Your regrets are late. Chapter 9. After a while, strange rumors circulated within the mansion. It was that Chairlies had spoken harsh words to her half-sister, who was sickly. As it circulated through the mouths of the servants to correct it, Duke Marcetta called Chairlies to his office. Rumors are floating around now. Explain what the hell is going on. What do you mean? I don't know. What? You have already heard that Lillian was in tears, and she even personally went to the Duke's office. But, you already know. What do you want me to explain? Lillian, couldn't it be that she misunderstood? Since when your Grace became a fair and justice person who is good at differentiating between things? Chairlies. It's not Chairlies. There was power in her voice. She was angry and, above all, felt ridiculed. Call me as Little Duchess. Also, I don't know how Lillian conveyed what had happened. That's right. I grabbed her hair, and threatened her. Quote. Did I have to put up with how she said that I am coveting the position of Little Duchess from her and how she insulted my already deceased mother? Duke Marcetta was speechless. I've barely convinced him about the broken contract, so be careful of your actions in the future. I did nothing wrong. Radin. It was Prince Berthez first, who insulted mother. The appearance of his childhood memory overlapped with Chairlies. The seed of a traitor who covets the Little Duchess's seat must be caught immediately after you find it, so there will be no Backlash. Quote. If you don't want to see the neck of your beloved daughter hanging in front of the gates, please educate your daughter properly. Quote. A young foal that has been unbridled must be taken care of by its owner. It was the moment that immediately came to her mind when there was a saying that children are the mirror of their parents. Lillian is his sore finger. She told him that she had been living a difficult life, earning a living by sewing. It was pitiful that he didn't even know the existence of his child. Seal was the youngest daughter of Marquis Luxon, who grew up being treated preciously. He couldn't even imagine how hard it must have been for the two of them to live together. Lillian had a face resembling Seal. He was happy that the traces of Seal remained in the world. So he gave up the room that should be only given to the eldest daughter or royal princess, but that was all. Strangely, he didn't get attached to her. And, the more he was with Lillian, the more he thought of Chairlies. Hiding the existence of his twin brother from the world, he couldn't let go of his abusive father for a long time. He couldn't possibly give love to Chairlies. That's why he acted more harshly and viciously. Even though he remembered everything, he was busy avoiding it. Looking at Chairlies reminded him of the previous emperor, which made him feel terrible. When he found something similar about Chairlies and Princess Yekaterina, he got annoyed without realizing it. He thought about what was the culprit of everything. It had been bothering him for days that he couldn't wipe her tears away. And his harsh words kept lingering on his mind. Baron Alec is here. Isn't he the one who used to be my mother's doctor? What happened? Chairlies took off the glasses she was wearing and asked, puzzled. There is no word. Once he gets inside, prepare the tea. Baron Alcé's face, as he entered, was very emaciated. Greetings to the Little Duchess. May Goddess Ricina's blessing reach you. May the Baron have protection. Why did you come all the way? Here, that's. Until I give another order, don't let anyone enter. I will take your order, Your Highness. Whether it was an important story that no one should have heard of, he continued to tense up and tremble his hands. Forgive my disloyalty that I speak now because there are many eyes to see. What do you mean, madam? Didn't die of chronic illness. Quote. Someone poisoned madam. Baron Alcé fell on his knees and said poison was the cause of her mother's earlier death. What are you talking about now? Quote. Poison. Did my mother die from being poisoned? It appears madam has been poisoned from the root of the flower called Valacium. Valacium. The symptoms appear belatedly, and unlike common poisons, they don't appear on the surface. Quote. By the time I noticed it and started the treatment, it was already too late. Quote. Madam gave me an order to keep quiet no matter what. I couldn't help it. I'm sorry, Your Highness. I didn't know anything. I didn't even think about it. Stupidly, just because she left with a smile and being with her last moment. I just thought she had put all the burdens on her shoulders and left. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, Your Highness. Now I see that she went away with everyone's sins. As she clenched her fists, her nails pierced through her tender skin. Even a small wound bleeds right away. Chairlies asked Baron Alec, barely holding back her burst of anger. What if she wasn't poisoned? Was my mother's illness cured? Is it true that she would be able to stay by my side for a long time without dying? She just needs to be careful about getting cold wind outside for a long time. Because the main cause of Madame's illness was a problem with her heart. Even though she knew that tears came naturally when she heard that her mother had given Baron Alec the order to keep quiet because her mother was afraid she would be worried. Baron Alec, can you help me? For the sake of your highness, and for Madame who died unjustly. I will give my life. Bring me the Valicium flower. I will inflict the same pain on those who made my mother suffer that way. Charlize's eyes lit up. She bit her lip and vowed revenge. A long time has passed since Baron Alec left the room. Among those who drove her mother to death, the most likely culprit was Harbert IV. Princess Veloce, the only child of Harbert IV, who caused the bloody catastrophe decades ago, was not appointed as crown princess. For that, her mother was Princess Veloce's greatest opponent. In fact, there were also forces that tried to make her mother as the emperor. Harbert IV demolished many palaces for Princess Veloce. It was said the status of Ramil Palace, newly built where Princess Veloce stayed, was more luxurious than Bachelet Palace, where the emperor resided. It was Harbert IV who beheaded his younger sister and sent the head to his father in order to become the emperor. More than that, it didn't seem like he couldn't do that. Your Highness, a letter has arrived from the Imperial Palace. A letter. It was sent by Her Royal Highness Princess Veloce. She opened the letter and found that Princess Veloce wanted her to visit Ramil Palace when time permits. I will be entering the palace in 2 days, so please let her know and send a reply. Yes, Your Highness. She had never met her in person except in public. It wasn't easy to know how to look at the face of Princess Veloce. Perhaps it was because she had been locked up in her room to get rid of her constant thoughts and see all the documents that could have been completed. Within 3 days, having regained her senses, Charlize headed to her study. Passing the numerous books, she pushed the drawer where a bunch of lilacs was placed. Then she saw the hidden space. Stepping inside, she opened the door of the podium and pulled out the box. It was a box containing the ashes of her mother. Everyone would think that her mother was buried in the cemetery of Duke Marcetta, but she pretended it to be like that and kept it separate. Charlize took it and rode the carriage to her mother's villa. After she ordered the lilacs to be planted in the garden, she thought of placing knights in turns to ensure it was safe, then burying her mother's ashes. Don't let anyone else come. Yes, Your Highness. We will surely protect it even if we risk our lives. She went inside, leaving the knights bowing their heads. Then she found a suitable place. Your Highness, how could you do this? I will do it. Haley, who saw the figure of Charlize bent down and tried to bury it by herself, was terrified and stopped her. If I can't even make a place for my mother with my own hands, what's the point? Oh my, Your Highness. I want to be alone for a while. I understand, Your Highness. Haley's footsteps were getting farther and farther away. If you want to save your life, you better show up now. A gentle wind blew. Charlize looked around and said that. Then a man came down from a tree that was quite tall. I didn't mean to spy. I'm sorry if I offended you. The man politely bowed his head and apologized. This is my mother's villa. You wouldn't have been able to come here because of the knights. So, who did you get in? They were the elite knights who were selected. Honestly, she was surprised. That's. The man hesitated to speak. His appearance felt very familiar to her. Light blue hair. He had the same hair color as the one who held her in his arms and cried before she died. Originally, light blue hair was a rare color even on the continent. It has been said that it's rare to see a person with light blue hair. At Charlize's words, the man showed a sense of urgency. As if he had never thought about it, he hurriedly tried to hide it. Charlize's eyes were light blue. It was somehow strange to just dismiss it as a coincidence. She couldn't shake the feeling so familiar. What is your name, sir? There was some kind of longing in his amethyst-like light purple eyes. He kept his mouth shut and didn't answer anything. He just makes sad eyes. Her tears that had been welling up fell. The bitter smile brought back memories of the unknown starting point again. I hate you for no reason. Lie. Quote ellipsis quote. It's not like that. Strange memories flashed through her mind as if recalling what she had lost. Her legs weakened, and she slumped down. Where does it hurt? The man was greatly perplexed and asked urgently. It felt the same. A warm and comfortable embrace, just like the man who was the only one who stood by her side. His hands were shaking uncontrollably. Lisa. Read latest chapters at Wuxia World. Site only. Quote ellipsis quote. No, Lisa. Please wake up. You can't die. Lisa. The man's voice calling out her name was muffled.